let's give them our undivided attention and a blessed welcome. Thank you.
Well, good evening. Can you hear me okay? Okay, you're getting me. All right. Thank you, Gordon, and thank you, Pastor Kitson, for good explanation. But I'll tell you, being a pastor, it's the one career where you say to yourself, I wish I was just a little bit older. So I really appreciate those who have been in ministry for a long time and have experience and have a clear way of presenting things. Do you appreciate Pastor Kitson? Amen. I certainly do. I'm glad to have him here as part of our family. All right, well, this evening we're getting into heaven's message for the final days ahead. 12,000 feet above Phoenix, Arizona, Debbie Williams and a half dozen friends poised briefly in the open door of an airplane. They dove out into the clear blue sky. These experienced skydivers planned to link in a midair formation. A few seconds into her free fall, Debbie went into a corkscrew, which is a fast dive to catch up with four others who were below her. But she miscalculated her descent and slammed into another diver. The 50-mile-per-hour impact knocked her unconscious, and she bounced away, limp as a rag doll. Debbie was plummeting toward the earth with her parachute unopened and no way to open it. She flew past her instructor, the jump master, Gregory Robertson. He noticed the blood covering her face. Immediately, Greg forced his body into a no-lift dive, head tucked into his chest and toes pointed and arms flat at his sides. Now he was diving at 180 miles per hour. When he looked up to check, Debbie still seemed to be falling away from him, but Greg kept going. As the horizon came up to meet him, trying to dive faster and faster and faster, he maneuvered his shoulders ever so slightly to guide his descent toward the unconscious young woman. And then he was there, right beside her. He looked like Superman without a cape. Gregory reached out and grabbed Debbie's reserve cord. Yanking it hard, he quickly moved away. Her chute opened and she began drifting slowly toward the ground. At 2,000 feet, only 12 seconds from impact, Gregory opened his own chute. Debbie and Superman both survived. Debbie would recover fully from her injuries and remain always grateful to the one who miraculously snatched her from a fatal impact. We too are rushing headlong toward an impact with destiny. We are speeding toward a collision with the final events of Earth's history. Wars and rumors of wars keep rushing at us. Devastating earthquakes have dramatically increased. The social fabric of our society is falling apart. Divorce is rampant and child abuse is just all too common. Violent crime is on the rise. Sexual promiscuity is out of control. And the gospel is going to all the world, impacting whole nations where it once was banned. All these things are rushing at us with frightening speed. They are signs that history is coming to a climax. We too are plummeting towards ground zero, and a lot of people don't have a parachute. Even more are simply unconscious. They don't realize that the horizon is rushing up to meet them. They grow limp in the face of climactic end-time events. But even at this late hour, God has planned a mid-air rescue. He knows the human race is spinning rapidly towards its date with destiny. He knows that the fate of millions will soon be decided forever. So even as we fall headlong, seconds from impact, He has devised a way to help us pull our ripcord. God's mid-air rescue is described in Revelation, in the last book of the Bible. Revelation reveals God's last day message. God always sends a message to prepare His people for major worldwide events which affect their eternal destiny. There's a biblical pattern. God's message of warning is always sent before his judgments. A loving God invites men and women to be saved before the coming calamity. In Noah's day, God sent a message to prepare men and women for the coming destruction of the world by water. He longed for people to be saved, not destroyed by the flood. God loved humanity so much, he allowed Noah to preach for 120 years. 120 years of mercy, 120 years of grace, 120 years of loving appeals. A message of mercy and warning precedes major biblical events. It was only after the inhabitants of Noah's day rejected the message of mercy that God then sent the flood. God revealed the same pattern in the days of Joseph. He raised up a man to prepare Egypt for the coming famine. A message of love was sent to Egypt before the calamity. This pattern was repeated again and again and again in the Old Testament. God sent his prophets to warn Israel before the impending doom. In the New Testament, God sent John the Baptist to prepare the way for the first coming of Jesus. It would be surprising then if God did not have a message of mercy